Which guild will go first at the bargaining table, the DGA, the WGA or SAG-AFTRA, remains undetermined for the upcoming cycle of film and TV contract talks with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers. If history is any judge, who goes first could foreshadow whether there will be a strike, or more than one strike, this year. In the end, it will be up to each guild, working in consultation with the AMP, to decide when, and in what order, they start bargaining. The DGA has gone first in each of the past three-year bargaining cycles, even though its contracts expire at the same time as SAG-AFTRA's, on June 30th, and 2 months after the WGA's contract on May 1st. The DGA often begins its negotiations many months in advance of the expiration of its contracts. When it comes to making the decision about when to start negotiations, the DGA said recently, "We are guided by one simple principle: we will only begin bargaining when we believe we have the most lift." The last time the DGA didn't go first was in 2010, when pre-merger SAG and AFTRA came to the bargaining table first. The last time the WGA went first, back in 2007, a 100-day writers' strike ensued. Related, DGA says upcoming film and TV contract talks promise to be one of most difficult in years. Who goes first is important because whoever it is tends to set the pattern of bargaining for the others to follow, though each guild has its own unique needs that pattern bargaining can't address. But issues such as annual pay raises and residual rates tend to be set by the first one at the bargaining table and generally are passed along to the next two guilds when it's their turn, as the companies are loath to give much better terms to one guild over the others. The 2020 cycle was kicked off by the DGA 3 years ago when, on February 4, the DGA and the AMP announced that they had agreed to enter into formal contract negotiations on February 10. Negotiations concluded with a deal on March 4, just before the COVID pandemic took hold. The DGA's board approved the deal, just as the boards of all the guilds do after their deals are reached, and the contract then was ratified by an overwhelming margin of its members on April 3. The DGA, unlike the other guilds, doesn't disclose how many members voted, or the margin of approval. The WGA went next in 2020, and on March 6 announced it would begin bargaining with the AMP on March 23. By that time, however, the COVID pandemic had shut down the industry, making it all but impossible for the guild to strike when so few were working anyway. A deal was reached on July 1, and the contract was ratified on July 29 by 98% of the voting members. Only 87 members voted against it, compared with 4,068 who approved it. SAG-AFTRA was up next that year, and on April 24, in a joint statement with the AMP, said that they would start negotiations on April 27.